kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get under the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Yeah, my message for the fans is we're all frustrated with where we are right now. Well, that never changed. I made that intro, I think it was like year 2 of the Joe Douglas regime. I was like, I shouldn't probably put this because at any minute we're going to not feel that way anymore. And then I thought it was funny. Oh, we'll leave it in there so we can remember. Boo! And now he's gone. Welcome, everybody, to the Thursday Thick of It. Dom C will be here in any moment, and Gunny will be here a few moments after that, I'm sure. Maybe Gunny beats him. Let's see how that goes. I'm happy you're here. I'm GreenBean. We talked about Dom C and Gunny, but that's my name as far as this world is concerned. I got a Klecko jersey behind me. I got the greatest pass rusher of all time, Mark Gastineau, to my right. And that is the way that the world needs to see it. Okay? My hope out of all this stuff, all this baloney that's going on right now, my hope is that maybe people look at this Mark Gastineau character and go, wait a second. Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? Look at this guy. Look at these numbers. What the hell's going on? Why are they excluding these guys? Maybe that'll happen. That'd be nice. I am not going to hold my breath, but maybe you'll hold yours and let me know how it goes. We'll see. But, man, here we are. We're all Jets fans. This is a Jets-centric TV show. As a lot of people say, they say, oh, I watch you on TV, on my TV. Oh, interesting. So that's super cool. If you're on the TV, hello to you. I want to say hello to some folks in here. Tony Alexio starting us off. Unleash the GreenBean Mania and crew. I love Tony. Tony is a special guy. And a couple years ago, when Tony first showed up, I don't know if you guys know or remember this. He was calling us dummies a lot. You remember that, Tony? You still here? That was a while ago. So that you put the comment up. But he would say, come on, dummy. And I would say, hey, who you calling a dummy? And I would get into it with Tony. And then one day he said, I'm sorry. That's not real. I'm not really calling you dummy. I'm just, whatever. And we from there, it was like, oh, okay. Sometimes text, you know what I mean? It's tough to get it, all the feelings accurate. Hold on a second. Let's see. Dom's saying the link isn't working. Let's see if that's accurate here. But anyway, Tony, I love you. Truly. I'm grateful for you. Super Leroy is here. Look at that. Look at that. Super Leroy. Jets Mess is in the house. My buddy Mark from Asbury Park is here. Love Mark. Yeah, Harlan. Look at Harlan's in the house. Look, he loves Tony. See? This is great. This is good stuff. Todd's here. Howdy to you, Todd. And Jets, I want to kiss you. He's talking about the Joe Namath, famous Joe Namath moment, if you will, that I've chosen to add to that intro for this show. Scott says, let's talk draft. Right. And we may, Dom's coming. So Dom is all about it. Dom is like, project prospect, man. Dom is all about the prospects and the draft, and he loves it, man. He loves it. I'm just glad that Dom, has a vehicle now, because he's been doing this for years just by himself for his own pleasure. Imagine. And now he's got a vehicle to kind of talk to people about it, and Twitter and YouTube and everything. And I'm grateful that Dom hangs out on the show. It's just so cool. Hey, Kevin's here. What's up, Kevin? Good evening to you, dude. Hepburn, my buddy Hepburn. Yeah, man. Tony, the GM's in the house. G-Dub and Sauce have 3 more years of control. Eccles, Sherwood, Moses are the priority. Well, that's, yeah, right. There you go. Add that to your take. Look at this guy. We were just talking about you. Dom C is in the house, everybody. How you doing, Dom?
I'm good, Bean. How are you, buddy?
Me, I'm all right, man. I'm just burning the candle at both ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that, man. I get that. So we got I got my wife for Christmas. I buckled and I got a new puppy. So oh man. It's number 3. Dog number 3 in the house. So it's 3 kids, 3 dogs, and it's a puppy. It's 13 weeks. And the wife and me. So it's 13 weeks old, and you did the whole thing, like cleaning up after it. Doesn't know anything, chews on everything, shits all over the place. I mean, I forgot what puppy life was like, but
well, that's the whole thing. They're so cute, you forget that it's one of the more difficult periods.
Yeah. So
yeah, well, good for you. And I'm sure the kids are happy with that, so that's great.
Yeah, my wife's been bugging me for a while, and I always said no. We had 2 was enough, but I didn't know what else to get her. So
what kind of puppy is it, Dom?
Well, it's a black lab and an English Mastiff. So we have one of those already, and it's our first dog. Our oldest dog, Gordon, is a black lab and Mastiff mix, and it's solely the best dog I've ever had. So I told my wife, the only way I'd get another dog was if I found one. And I found one in a rescue over here in Fairlawn near, kind of sort of near me, Say County. So took my wife.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, took my wife, took the kids, took the other 2 dogs, piled them in the truck, drove them over to meet the puppy. They were all excited, and drove them around Patterson, my old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Showed them around.
Hey, what part of Patterson did you stomp?
I didn't.
No.
I was that was said really tongue in cheek. I was much more of a Newark boy.
I started in P-Town and ended up in Newark. Yeah. I had a job in Patterson. We were building the sweet potato pie factory, and I learned by being I was the super on the construction site. So I I'd look around the town, and I learned some things, and then so that started a very difficult period in my life, actually, knowing where it was. You know what I mean?
Well, I worked on for years. I worked in downtown Newark on Halsey Street, so I would go at lunchtime and run real quick around the corner to Orange Street to BT, kick back, run
BT.
back.
That was my spot, BT. I'll tell you, you want to so listen to this. So we're filming. I was working on set for the movie Find Me Guilty with Vin Diesel. Okay. And I was playing what is it called? Like a U.S. Marshal. Okay. But my part was I was driving the U.S. Marshal truck through scenes and pulling up and backing up. I was doing that kind of shit, but I had to have a suit on the top, and I had a ponytail. Like I had my hair pulled back into a ponytail. I had long hair at the time. And during one of the breaks, we were filming like by City Hall. I shit you not, Dom. I, with my suit top on, ran to BT. and not only that, I had $10 and I got them to spot me because I said, dude, I'm filming with Vin Diesel and the whole thing, and I don't have the fucking, and they were like, yeah, holy shit. And I ended up running and then running back. So like during the filming of a movie with Vin Diesel, I did that shit. So, man. Yeah, it's in control, as you know.
Yeah. So fun fact, my family, Bean, my family owned pizzerias, and they were all in downtown Newark, because my dad, that's the business that he knew, but he didn't want to be one of these guys that are open 7 days a week till 11 p.m. delivering all that. So he had pizzerias. One was right under the courthouse. One was right next to the Newark Board of Ed. So he worked 9 to 5, 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. That's it. It's the only way you can have a business like that and still kind of have like a family life. fun fact, his pizzeria and me, my dad and my uncle were all in an episode of The Sopranos. They filmed at our pizzeria, season 2. Yep. Season 2.
Amazing. Isn't that fun?
And they had guys that you were in the industry, so you know. I thought it was hilarious because you're in downtown Newark and you get some homeless people, and you know we became all friends. And at the end of the day, you give them pizza, and you know
who it is.
Yeah,
same people, right?
They kept coming while they were trying to film, and they had guys outside just trying to keep them away, just handing them $20 bills. Just here's $20, go away.
Yeah, go away.
And these guys are smarter than a whip, you know what I mean? So they would come back 4 or 5 times making noise, another $20. Another time making noise, another $20. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's super cool, man. You know, I used to do props for The Sopranos and all that shit. I got, fucking the story with the Escalade and all that stuff when I almost got it impounded. Anyway, it's good to see you, Dom. It's been a few weeks. We haven't had a show. I was very ill last week. I was just like, I can't. And then I think it was Thanksgiving. I don't know what the hell is going on anymore.
Yeah.
But we got a game tonight. What we got? The Rams and the
Niners. Interesting one, yeah.
Rams and Niners tonight. We'll be chatting about that a little bit. But, with this being a Jets show, everybody, Phil, he doesn't want to talk about the Niners. Matthias, he wants to talk about the Jets. Imagine that. So here we are. We currently have the 7th pick. We are 3-10 with Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Devontae Adams, fucking Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, Quincy Williams. We got all these guys. And somehow we find a way to lose. Now, an interesting fact here, Dom, you probably know because you're very, very connected to the world, stats, information. But we always say things like the Jets always find a new way to lose every week. It just so happens that we did it again with the score of last week's game has never happened in NFL history before. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
What was it? 32-26 has never happened. Or is it 4 or 5? Yeah, 32-26 in all the games. Never happened. So the Jets did, in fact, find a brand new way. Nobody's ever lost that way before. Here we go. And it's a funny thing if you look at it through the right lens. It's definitely not funny, but all we had to do to win that one was Devontae Adams just had to not go out of bounds.
Yeah, listen, man. I don't know how you felt, but the moment they kicked that field goal, I said we ain't winning. We ain't winning. I knew it. I knew it in my bones. We weren't winning. There was no doubt whatsoever that we were going to lose that game. And it's funny, and not to kind of veer off topic too far, but you talk about this team and the monstrosity, just overall, just the utter disaster from top to bottom. And, you talked about Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, this, that, and the other thing. I still think that, the coaching has just been atrocious. It started out atrocious. It got probably even worse, this, that, and the other thing. But, the most disappointing part of this season for me is really just seeing how this vaunted defense has just been kind of disastrous. Yeah. So I think it's kind of funny how all Jets fans are, and listen, I am one as well. I fully admit, all Jets fans, when you talk about the new head coach and this and that, everything's got to be offensive minded. Go get offensive guys in the draft, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Where in retrospect, our defense has been pretty god awful this year, right? Am I right about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, at times god awful, but at minimum, very inconsistent. Right. So even when they're playing well, it's just like when you need them to stiffen, they don't do it.
I don't know if we've had a good defensive game since Ulbricht's taken over.
Now, I'll tell you what. No, I have to agree with you. I think that whatever shot in the arm, we were hoping that provided.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say, right? Do we have enough data? It didn't happen.
Yeah, right? I think it was the opposite.
Yeah, we have a regression going on. But and it's funny too, because like while Aaron Rodgers has been look, there's so many pieces, right? Like, you can't, in this black and white world that we have now, it's like, well, if it's this, then it can't be that. There's a lot of reasons for this. And Aaron Rodgers has been disappointing, but it's an interesting thing when you look at it. Like the defense, if we've talked about it for the last few years, like if we just had like top 25 quarterback play, we could be somebody. And we have that. But the defense has fallen off a cliff. Like you see all the people talking about, oh, Zach had more wins. I'm like, I can't even engage with that shit, because it's just such a silly argument. You know what I mean? Like Zach's throwing for 130 yards and, no touchdowns. And we're comparing it. Like there is no real comparison, right? But at the same time, it's like when you look at the defense, like, and what has happened, whether it's the changing, we lost JFM and some other guys and everything. And then you kind of bet on Reddick. He didn't show up. And then Jermaine Johnson and you lose him for the year. And it's like that stuff matters. There's a lot, it just the whole degradation of this defense. The defense is built around the defensive line. And when it's not providing you what they need to provide you, everything else becomes very, very suspect, so it's an interesting thing, Dom, and we'll talk more about it. I do want to mention our sponsor, everybody. BetUS has been sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It this year. I'm grateful for that. And I want to remind you of the amazing offer that they have for you guys. Let's see if this works. It hasn't been, yay. All right. 150% bonus, everybody, on your first deposit up to $2,000. All you got to do is use the promo code YouTube150. And that also works for the next two deposits. You get 125% bonuses on both of those up to $2,000. So it's an amazing thing. And it's America's favorite sports book for a reason. I'm starting to do a little bit better on it too, guys. I think I might be getting smart. I'm not betting on ridiculous things like the Jets are going to be the first team to score and that kind of stuff. I got to just stop it. But it's a great offer. 150% bonus, guys. YouTube 150 is all you got to use. That's the promo code to get the offer. And I want to thank BetUS. Well, they'll check back in later, I'm sure. But if you're smart, you'll take advantage of that one, man. So, thanks to BetUS. Now, I want to talk so the theme of the show, Dom, is, it's a touchy subject. You got people who say anybody who roots for losses is a loser, right? There's that. Because if you're rooting for losses, clearly you're a loser. And I get it. But then there's the people like, how many times are we going to watch the same movie where we suck? And then as soon as everything's meaningless, we win a few games and then we don't get that number one pick, the number two, and we can, the trade or the quarterback, whatever it is, the blue chip. How many times are we again, guys, we've been among the worst teams in the NFL for a long, long time. And we haven't had the number one overall pick since 1997. That's the last time we had it. So there's something up when you talk about, patterns, and maybe we should just tank and try to get back up there and get the golden nugget of suctitude. Like there is a benefit to sucking, but you gotta suck right. And we don't do that. So we're playing the Jaguars this week. Now the Jaguars are interesting because number one, well, let me say that it's my birthday this Sunday.
Today is mine.
Today.
And Sunday is my son PJ's.
That's right. That? I knew that in the back of my brain.
Yeah. Today is my birthday,
Dom.
Thank you. My pleasure.
May I ask, or are you a lady? Can I ask how old you are?
49.
49, you young little whippersnapper.
I'm a month and a half younger than your sister Heather. You gotta remember.
Ah, that's right. 49. Wow. Enjoy it, right? This is the 40s, baby.
That's it. And it's over.
Once you're 50, they say 50 is the youth of old age. There you go. Right?
That'll
40
work.
is the old age of youth. 50 is the youth of old age.
I like that.
I like it too. So happy birthday to Dom. Let's throw some hearts in the red.
Oh,
green,
it's
whatever
okay.
you
Thank
got
you. Thank you.
in the chat for our buddy Dom C's birthday. But so look, I'll factor you in. It's our birthday week, Dom. It happens to be my birthday on the game day. And I'm on Team Tank because I would love to get up to that first pick or two and be able to trade back. That's my whole thing. And, build the, secure the capital to really fortify the team for the next couple of years. Right. And the Jaguars, Dom, is like a double your bang for your buck game because they gain a win. You know what I mean? So there's like a double move there. It's like when Aaron Rodgers missed G-dubs in the end zone in Seattle, and then they got a pick six. It's like that's a 14-point swing in 2 plays. You know what I mean? So it's like that. Where are you with this whole thing? Are you hoping for kind of a loss? But it's my birthday, so they're not going to do it. They never do what I want on my birthday. They're going to win. But where are you with your hopes?
Listen, here's my hopes. And this is going to sound very harsh. It's not meant to sound that way. Whatever it is to turn the page for next year, whatever it is to make Aaron Rodgers retire or get cut, whatever it is to entice the new coaches, whatever it is to take the hit next year so we can be clean for 2026. That's what I want to see. So if that means we lose, we lose. Listen, truth be told, this is what I really feel. I think to even be in the ballpark of one of the, we could talk about the quarterbacks and we'll get into that as we get later in the season and with the Monday night mock and this, that, and the other thing. But obviously I'm not saying anything that anyone doesn't already know. There's 2 big names here, and they're likely to go 1 and 2 because the teams that are likely to pick 1 and 2, the Raiders and the Giants, both need quarterbacks as well. So if we want to be in that range where you want to kind of kick the tires on one of those guys, then lose away, man. Lose away. If it guarantees that next year we could start fresh, I'm having it. If it's Aaron Rodgers wants to go out on a shining star and win the last 4 games so he can retire into the sunset, let's win the next 4 games. I don't care what it is. I just want to turn the page from all of this ick. That's what I really, really want to do. So
Dom has been taking a political science class. I think that was a very, very peaceful, non-committal answer.
It's very non-committal. It was very committal.
Whatever happens,
whatever it takes for us to turn the page from this, because this is wholeheartedly been the most depressing, the most upsetting, the most disappointed season that I can remember in all of my 49 years on this earth. Yeah. There's been no other season where we've had, talent to meet the expectations and for the expectations to just fall flat.
This season, I could not agree more. This is the most disappointing season I've experienced that I can remember. Because like you said, the expectations were so high. And even if not Super Bowl, just like finally a successful team.
Yes.
Finally a team that gets in the playoffs. Finally a team we could be proud of. Maybe you don't beat the Chiefs or whoever in the playoffs or whatever.
Maybe you don't beat the Bills for the division, but you're
finally something to be proud of. And the bottom has fallen out so spectacularly. And then even firing the coach and signing, trading for Devontae Adams, like nothing. We can't do a damn thing. We can't. It sucked the life out of me. I'm having a hard time this year. We're watching the games and, I'm like, I hope we lose. And then we start playing them all. And I'm like, yay, because I can't help. I mean, hey, if they're winning, I'll root, It's just such such a difficult season. And I've noticed, man, like lots of people I talk to are like, yeah, man, I'm not even watching. I can't do it. So what? They win a game, or my son didn't watch the game last week for most of it. And he just checked the score. He's like, holy shit, the Jets are winning. Let me just check in. And then the Dolphins drove down and touchdown. He's like, what? He watched 5 minutes of that game. And it's like, this is why I don't do it. You know, my poor kid. And I just get it. So, like, I don't know. I hear what you're saying about, like, I want whatever is going to turn the page. I don't know what the decision is going to be. You know,
well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What would your decision be? Do you want to bring back Aaron and that, you know, in turn keep some of the Aaron pieces and Devontae Adams, this and that, and hope that a new coaching regime and a new attitude and all that will kind of revigorate or rejuvenate what we've got going, and that'll be the change? Because I can't get to that point.
It's tough because, you know, like as the season progresses, right? Like Aaron Rodgers, like he was banged up, you know, we're hearing all that shit. Now he's healthy and he's like throwing for 300 yards. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Like, I mean, do we chalk this up as the year that they were all kind of getting their shit together, and the end of the season, they win 3 of the last 4. And it's like, you know, we got, you know what I mean? Like for me, I'm a fan. Like, look, you got rid of Joe Douglas. You got rid of Robert Saleh. It would be very difficult for me to understand how they could keep this coaching staff employed. Like, I hear, you know, Brick is very close to Woody, and, you know, we heard this, he's very involved in lots of football decisions. Like, Woody might love him. I mean, I don't know, but it seems to me like we need to, like, again, we got rid of the head coach, got rid of the GM. We got rid of Rex Hogan the year before. Like, it's like the regime is fractured and clean it.
Yeah.
Clean it. Give somebody the opportunity. Get a good GM, blow his doors off with the offer. Get Vrabel, or, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get somebody like on the upper tier of the what's available this year. And you bring them in and you let them decide. But like where Aaron Rodgers and all that's concerned, it's like, can you really have a clean, you know, a clean slate when Aaron Rodgers is still here?
No.
I mean, I'm a fan of keeping Devontae Adams, but is he going to want to stay here with, you know, to start over with a new guy and the whole shit? I don't know. So, like, I think, like, where we are, it just begs for, look, I don't care if somebody's redeemable, or just clean it. Just clean it. Get rid of, you know, with all due respect, like the CJ Mosleys, the Chuck Clarks, like whatever you got to do to clean it, just clean it.
Yeah. And listen, and there might be something to it that, you know, first year back from the Achilles, Aaron had to shake some rust, and, you know, next year, maybe he could be better and back to the player we thought we were getting. That's not like completely unrealistic. But I don't know if I'm willing to take that chance and bank on that hope, right? Because on top of it, you know, one more year of Aaron Rodgers means that your dead cap goes from $48 million to $63 million, right? We keep him on the roster 5 days into the season. We now have a $63 million cap hit in 2026. $63 million in 2026.
That's bad. Is that
for
bad?
For what will be a 42-year-old quarterback next year, who battled through some injuries, coming back from an Achilles. I don't want to say that he's been, because he hasn't been the only problem. He hasn't. But it just this whole litany of just disgust. And I don't know, frankly, like, I'm tired of the mainstream media harping on the Rodgers stuff.
Yeah,
I'm tired to hear what
McAfee.
McAfee.
Right? I'm just tired of it.
Everyone said expect it. No, it's going to be different.
But you know what,
you
Dom?
know?
But if we were winning, I could deal with it.
Yeah, but we're
I
not.
could deal with all of it if we're winning. Like right now, if we're an 8-win team,
Would you care what the Athletics said?
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Oh,
But
Puka
but the thing is
Nacua.
like this, Dom.
Puka Nacua. Did you see that catch? Hold that thought. Did you see
No.
that catch? Watch it.
I didn't.
Watch the
Hold on,
highlight.
we're talking here. Hold on. So, all right, I'll watch the catch.
Watch this. Watch this. Oh, God, he's so good. I can't freaking believe it. Anyhow, sorry.
We didn't need him. Why do you want this guy? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like rare shit right there. Now I lost my train of thought.
Rogers.
Yeah.
Circus. Athletic.
Winning. Yeah. Like, well, it's like this. I'm going to tell you something. If you're walking down, if you're standing there and somebody kicks you in the ass, it's not that it's good. Well, all right, you got a kick in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're down after getting punched and kicked, and then somebody walks by and kicks you, it's significantly worse. You're on the ground, right? So that's what this is. It's like these articles come out, and then now we know it just by the first clip that was released about the, from the 30 for 30 sack exchange. Like I was so excited to like finally the world will see what we had, and it's a hit piece. You know what I mean? They're going to expose, they're going to talk about the stats and the dominance a little bit, but it's going to be about how they didn't like each other and all that shit. Mark Gastineau's selfish and they didn't like him. And that's what they're doing. And evidenced by that, they wouldn't have released that clip first, And it's like, that's what happens. Like anything, like I'm just so sick of being able to, like we're in the position to be kicked, and Aaron Rodgers being out there every week on McAfee and just saying shit. I don't know. Like, how do you know, the team, this is their 14th year of no playoffs? It's like, well, this is my first year. It's like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, that's really like, I don't know. I just, can you zip it? Please. Can you just say something correct?
I was kind of over it, to be honest, if I'm being honest. I kind of played it off like it wasn't a big deal, but I was kind of over it when that whole red line thing and Mike Williams came up.
Yeah.
That was just like, eh.
Yeah, I defended it because I mean, I didn't love it, but I was like, it's not that. We're making a big deal out of it. But in hindsight, totally, like when you stack it with everything, it's like,
yeah. But I'm tired of Diana Rossini. I'm tired of Zach Rosenblatt. I'm tired of the mainstream media, typical Jets, typical Rodgers, this, that, and the other thing. Like, let it be typical somewhere else, man. I want to go back to the days where we just we don't matter and we kind of just fly under
1
the radar.
o'clock games all year.
We don't matter and just fly under the radar.
Yep. And if we pull it together while in that position, fantastic. I love being the underdog. Joe the Jet G, Dom, this is for you, buddy.
Okay.
Is Drew Allard the guy for the Jets? Assuming he comes out, we don't know that yet.
Yeah, man.
Is that the guy?
I don't know, Bean. I got to be honest with you. I mean, is it the guy that I'm ready to turn the keys over to? The answer is no. Is he
sit for a sec?
Yeah. Is he the best of what will be available? Because, like I said, I fully expect Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward to be off the board, at worst the top 3 picks. So is he the next best quarterback? God bless. I'm not sure. I have, I don't have a first round grade on him. I know quarterbacks, it doesn't matter because quarterbacks always, people always reach for quarterbacks. Does he have the demeanor? Does he have the size? He's got the big arm. He's always played in the, in the cold weather in the central and the northeast. So all that stuff bodes well. He can hang in the cold weather of the northeast. For a guy who's 6'5", 230, he's a plus athlete. And you know what? There is, I have to give credit where credit is due. He has immensely improved from last year to this year. But he's, he doesn't, mechanically still needs some work. He improved a lot, but he doesn't throw like consistently with proper footwork mechanics from a good base. There's a lot of errant punts, and he's late with his throws a lot. So I don't know, man. Like you're banking that the right coach can come in here and kind of get him right. Not that he's bad, but he's not NFL ready yet. Like he's a guy, he could, if you gave him, if he had to start games, he could have like a Zach Wilson type rookie year, where he's going to have some moments that flash, but when it's all said and done, he's going to have 9 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And you know what I mean? Like that's what could happen. But if he's brought in here and there's, a solid veteran to kind of bridge that gap and he sits and learns and you get the right offensive mind, whether it be a head coach, offense coordinator, quarterbacks coach, whatever it is, could he develop? Sure. Is he the guy? I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet. I graded him out. He scored, within fraction points, of Jalen Milroe with me. I think they're both, quarterback 3 and 3A and 3B for me. Especially now that Garrett Nussmeier decided to go back to school. They each bumped up a spot. So he might be the best of what's left. He might be the best of what's left.
But I'd love to, I don't care who it is. I'd love to, if we get a quarterback, we draft a quarterback, I'd love to let them sit. I'm tired of this same dynamic. Look, we got a rookie coach coming in, or whoever, and we're going to fucking get a rookie quarterback and do the whole thing over again and hope it's different.
I'll say this. If by chance they decide to go quarterback early, whether it's at pick 6 or 7 or early in the second round, whatever the case is, like if that's the path you're going to go, you got to give me, like, to make me comfortable with it, you got to give me a couple things. One, you have to have a bridge quarterback in because I don't want to start one of those guys. I just don't want to do it. If you're telling me that, he's going to start because quarterback 1 and 2 got hurt or something like that, all right, well, that's fine. It is what it is. Can't control injuries. But you got to have a bridge quarterback in here because I don't want to turn over the keys to a rookie who's really probably not there yet. And to me, there's only one quarterback that I'm in this draft class that I'm comfortable handing the keys over and say, you're going to start. And that's Shedeur Sanders. Not even Cam Ward. I know Cam Ward probably will, but I think that, people are going to be in for a mild surprise, and, the ups and downs that will come with one Cameron Ward. But 2, if you bring in a quarterback high, you gotta have, I think I need a good offensive focused mind leading my team. That's where I want to say one of these young offensive coordinators. Maybe we get a guy that one of the guys that I really like. I mean, 2 of the guys that I really like. One's been a coach before, one hasn't. And the one guy from Tampa Bay, Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator, I think he's great. He's done good things at Tampa Bay. He's really manifested that offense into being a viable threat both on the ground and in the air. He's done it at the University of Kentucky. He's worked under McVay with the Rams. So he's done it all over the place. Like that's the kind of mind I want. And I love the fact that he is adamant about having 2 running backs that can share the load and really, really work, because that's what we're built with right now.
Yeah.
So to me, that piece really, really fits.
That sounds great. I hate it. I don't want a rookie anybody. But I get it. You're making valid points. I can't. I'm gonna puke.
Well, if you think about it, listen, you look at KOC up there in Minnesota, right? Look at that team, what that team has done this year, right? A vast improvement. And last year, KOC didn't look like he was going to be this kind of coach, but he was probably, they probably took him, struck while the iron was hot a year early, let him figure out how to be a head coach before he can really turn it up year 2.
I hear you. They're not the Jets. It's just what they don't have. We have a cycle. We have a cyclical thing that we do.
Yeah.
I'm dying for them to do something different. Not at all costs, like, you get, it doesn't matter who it is. We're going to get McCarthy. If you like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just the idea, especially if, there's a growing movement for Aaron Glenn. Look, I love Aaron Glenn, but another rookie defensive guy, I don't know, man. I can't.
That's the one I can't wrap my head around, man.
Yeah. I get it.
I get it, but I can't wrap my head around another defensive coordinator, first-time head coach. If it ends up being a defensive-minded head coach like a Vrabel, even like a Flores, I'd be fine with.
Dorsey Vrabel, please.
Yeah. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens.
Right.
But
Allison's checking in. She's mad at us, so she says he's not the only one who had that I had a problem. How about you have a problem? So she's mad, but she's kidding. Just kidding. But all you got to do is complain and moan him just because we got injured and now he wanted to do was come. So I think she's talking about A-Rod. Here's the thing. I want to say this about Jets fans. Okay. And this is absolutely true. We do complain a lot. All right. We bitch, we moan, we fight with each other. But I want to point something out, and it's hard to find because we rarely do it. But when we win 2 games in a row, we go from despair to Super Bowl, right? Yeah. All we want, like if a team could just give us wins, which is, by the way, their job. It's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
We are one of the best, most ridiculously passionate fan bases out there. The problem is we almost never get it. So we're left with the other thing we do, which is complaining. So it seems like, we're always bitching and moaning. Well, that's all we get. I mean, I'm watching the game. It's funny. Like during the live stream, somebody will say, holy shit, you're negative. It's like, I'm not negative. I'm talking about what we're watching together. And it is overtly negative. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to talk positive stuff when you're watching the second pick, and like we're down 10 points in the fourth quarter. It's like, it's hard to do it. But this fan base, like we might be ridiculous as a collective, but that also goes for the positive side. Mm-hmm. We start winning a few games. We are nuts. We're ravenous. We're all buying new jerseys and hats and shit. Like we're crazy. We just never get that side enough. So the balance is off. You know what I mean? And then like Dom was talking about before, the Rossinis of the world they're kicking us. And it's hard. It's hard to it's like walking around as a man. Your wife's cheating on you and everybody in town, all the guys that she's cheating on you with are beating you up when you walk down the street.
Yeah.
That sucks. It's hard to be like, hey, life is good. It's hard to gather up the gumption for some positivity when that's happening. So that's what it is, Allison. We're not trying to be whiny complainers and all that shit. It's just tough. Like, dude, this season was over. This season was a wrap. Granted, we weren't mathematically out, and I was rooting like anybody. But it's like, dude, the soul was sucked out of us. This is a hard season, man.
It sure is.
After a bunch of miserable seasons.
Yep.
So it's a tough gig being a Jets fan. I maintain that. That's the truth, man.
So I see a lot of comments as we were talking about coaches in the chat, and the chat seems to be very much behind the veteran coach. And a lot of them defensive minded too, like a lot of variable love in there, which is fine. Okay. Do you know who the last young, brilliant offensive coordinator, 2 head coach? You know who the last young guy that we brought up? Take away Gase, because Gase was a head coach when we hired. He was a head coach already when we hired him, so he was really retread. You know who the last offensive mind? The last time we hired an offensive coordinator, you know who it was?
Wait, offensive head coach?
An offensive coordinator to be our head coach, correct?
Okay.
Not Gase. Gase is a retread. Take him out.
That's going to be Bruce Coslett.
Bruce Coslett. When was Bruce Coslett here? 1980.
Late 80.
What?
I mean,
Yeah.
1990. I know he was here, so probably 89.
Yes. 89 was the last time, besides the couple years that we had Adam Gase, that we had a young, and I don't even know how young he was, but like first time or offensive minded coach. Like something's got to give here. Give it to me. This is the time. This is the time to do it.
Think about that. Like, so when you want to talk about
It's 2024. Yeah.
So he was our head coach from 1990 to 1993. Then we fired him and just elevated his defensive coordinator, kept most of the other people on the staff, which was Pete Carroll, by the way. He got that 1 year, and we were looking great, 6-4, playing for first place. Then the fake spike happened, and we didn't win another game. We won 4 games in 2.5 years after that fake spike. Very, very impactful. We never seen anything like it. I mean, I was in the stands, and I remember going, "That's illegal!" I'm like, I don't know what. So it was 1994, so I'm 22. I'm like, I'm all hammered. I'm like, fucking bullshit. I didn't know. Nobody ever seen anything like it. You're supposed to spike it, you liar, fucking cheating Marino. That kind of thing. So, but you think about it, man, just like you're talking about, and like we were talking about before with like the tank thing, like winning meaningless games. We do the same things every single year, every cycle. We go back to the drawing board. We hire a rookie GM. We hire a rookie, a defensive coordinator for our head coach. Then we draft a quarterback and we put them all in there together, and nobody
figure it
done
out.
anything. And we go fix it.
Figure it out.
When it like week 10, we're like, these guys are bums. You know what I mean? Like, God forbid, we might give them 1 year and go, all right, well, I saw some progress. They got to get their shit together. But mid-year 2, we're done.
The quintessential most Jet thing ever was the year we drafted Sam. Remember when we drafted Sam Darnold? Great. Happy to have Sam. Loved him in that draft class. What did we do after we drafted Sam? Do you remember? I don't know
specifically what you're talking about.
Well, what did we add in that draft after we took Sam?
Oh, Jamie not Sherwood was our next pick in the 3rd round. Excuse me. I don't think we had a second. Yeah, because we traded it away for Sam.
Correct.
So we took a defensive tackle.
A defensive tackle from Canada.
Yeah, we took
24-year-old defensive tackle from Canada.
Yeah, he was old. Yeah. No, did I say Sherwood? I meant.
I know.
Yeah, I meant Shepard. Nathan Shepard. That's who it is.
24-year-old defensive tackle from Canada.
Now, I forget off the top of my head the rest of but it was the same kind of shit. I think maybe, what was it? Malden, or he was a year before.
Well, let's
but anyway, quick. The point is, we didn't.
No one to support this quarterback is the point.
But you know what's funny? McCagnon was interviewed right after drafting Sam, and they're like, "Hey, oh my God, the quarterback was supposed to go number 1 overall. Fell to you." He's like, "Hey, we feel very fortunate. We're very excited, and now our job is to support him, is to build around him." That's what he said. Right after drafting Sam, McCagnon went on record in an interview and said, "Now my job is to support this guy." He did nothing. Let me look at that draft. What year was that? Sammy, what was 18?
2018. Yep.
Let's see here. Let's we gotta do it. Let me do this. Wait, 2018 Jets draft. Let's see what we got here. All right, here we go. Oh, he did give him a tight end. That's nice. So we got Sam Darnold. Then we drafted Nathan Shepard, a defensive tackle from Fort Hays State. Then we got tight end Chris Herndon, cornerback Parry Nickerson, defensive lineman for Lonzo Fatukasi, So we liked him, but again, not building around Sam. And then in the 6th round, he took Trenton Cannon,
Who was all of what, 5'6", 100.
who was all of like, I remember that. I'm like, and that's the running back?
Yeah. It's all
Like,
5
okay,
foot.
you want to draft the running back? I mean, again, the player evaluation piece was like, what the fuck is wrong with us? But like you talk about it. Oh, hey, look who's here. Hey, are you ready over there? All right, let's bring him in. Look at this guy. Holy macaroons. Gunny.
Hey, Gunny.
I apologize, gentlemen. No excuse. No excuse. With between work and then an update on the MacBook, I don't know what the heck was going on today.
Gunny, you are not in question. You're a special fella. I miss you. I love you. It's good to see you.
It's been a while, gentlemen. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Missed you guys.
So I want to read this for you, Bean. Okay. I delved back into the archives here. Number 72 overall, round 3, Nathan Shepard, defensive tackle, Fort Hays State. Sometimes it's as simple as this. There simply aren't many 6'4", 315-pound defensive linemen with the strength and athleticism that Shepard possesses. Born and raised in Canada, Shepard fell in love with football and was determined to play in the United States. Financial issues forced him to take 2 years off of college football, but he never gave up. This is from ESPN, by the way. I should have said that. The Jets once had what they thought was the best young defensive lines in the NFL. They traded away Sheldon Richardson, waived Mo Wilkerson, leaving Leonard Williams to face consistent double teams. Shepard, whom the Jets project as a defensive end in their 3-4, could free up Williams. Jets coach Todd Bowles said he has heavy hands and believes once Shepard gets through training camp, he'll be ready to be part of the rotation.
Yeah.
The Eagles show the importance of having great depth and talent, blah, blah, blah. That's what the Jets need to build. Shepard started his career at Simon Fraser College, a Canadian powerhouse. He worked at a plant nursery in the industrial carton factory, often the graveyard shift, before enrolling at Division II, Fort Hays State. How does he fit? A diamond in the rough. And here's our GM, Mike McCagnon. These are the kind of guys you get excited about.
Yeah.
That although they're slightly older, 25 at the time he was drafted, they're kind of interesting guys that aren't in the normal path of high school, college, big programs or stuff like that. He's a winner. 25-year-old defensive tackle after you trade up to draft a quarterback.
That's right. So like you see it, right? So these are guys that even though you just traded 3 second-round picks to go up, you traded a second-round pick for every spot you went up to get a quarterback, and you can't turn down whatever feelings you have for the opposite piece that you need. You just can't. You just can't do. Not a tackle.
No, you couldn't find an offensive lineman. You know, if you want to take an offensive lineman, all right, you're protecting.
All right,
you're protecting, but you got hurt.
Bro, we're going to protect this guy. Mike McCagnon famously drafted 2 offensive linemen in 5 drafts. A 5-man unit. He only used 2 picks in 5 years to build. Piece of garbage. Gunny, how do you feel about this?
I was watching on my phone while my computer was uploading, man. You guys talking about the coaching situation. I see a lot of individuals, are again with the whole Jets PTSD syndrome that we all got. Everyone's terrified of trying anything new. We're trying to go back to the days of when the last time we were getting a defensive-minded head coach and it worked out for us was Rex Ryan. I feel like we're trying to recapture that, like bring that era back somehow, some way. And
because it's the only thing we've had. Right.
Yeah, but I think that fear is going to hold us back. This whole situation, this whole season, I think kind of like showed us one thing, right? Where there wasn't a single person, whether it was fans, analysts, you had your trolls, but even your trolls, when they were talking crap, were still kind of worried about what the Jets could potentially achieve this season. It's become abundantly clear that talent is one thing, but you need an adult in the room that's going to allow to put it all together and actually freaking achieve success. And I know we're familiar with the defensive-minded head coach as Jets fans. That's our thing. We go back to the last time we had success. It was Rex Ryan. But I think Dom was alluding to it as well, man. I'm so over the defensive route. I think we need to go ahead and take a shot in the dark here and go the offensive-minded route. I know Mike Vrabel is a favorite of everybody's. I understand when you look at his overall record how exciting that is, but the guy was like 11-23 in his last two seasons in the league. Like the pinnacle of his success was, I think, year 2 of him being the Titans coach, where he went to the AFC Championship game and he was there for 6 years, and that was the pinnacle. Like, that was the peak of it, right? So I'm not gonna be mad at Mike Vrabel. It is what it is. But I think that if we're looking to actually like become a championship organization, we need to go ahead and do what championship organizations are doing right now, i.e. in the mold of the Kansas City Chiefs. You're bringing in an offensive-minded head coach to go ahead and lead the way. And I don't want to do the same thing we've been doing. You just went down the list of poor drafting, poor head coach choices. Like, I just want to go ahead and do something that we're not expecting the Jets to do. I think the majority of us are expecting Mike Vrabel to be the coach next year. I think that's probably what the majority of us think is going to happen. I know Aaron Glenn right now is apparently in the conversation as well. But I am hoping, for the love of God, that we stop doing what we've been doing so we can actually potentially see some different results. I want Ben Johnson like my life depended on it. I call me crazy.
Ain't getting him.
I know that. I think there's a chance to get him if we bring in either freaking Dorsey or Agnew, based off of what he said in his press conference, talking about, listen, where I go, the GM and my coaching position has to align. They have to admit that there's been some faults. I think in that press conference, people are saying, oh, he ain't coming to the Jets. I think that was the guy saying, like, hey, I wouldn't mind coming over here, but 1, the GM and I have to be aligned, and 2, hey, Woody, you got to admit you've been messing this thing up a little bit. I feel like he was. You got to
do a couple things for me.
Exactly. I feel like he was almost putting it out there, because when I looked around at the other options, I'm like, there really is another option that really both those situations kind of align with. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping it's him. I doubt it will be, but that's my dream scenario. But man,
I think that's everyone's dream scenario. I think I kind of side with GreenBean. I don't know if this guy is as, heralded as he is of an offensive mind, and can probably handpick why he would choose here. That's my whole thing.
Think about it,
like,
right?
Look, here's the whole thing. So like Frankie's saying, why are we reliving painful moments? Frankie, you're smart enough to know the reason we're doing this is because of what Gunny is now talking about. It's time to change the cyclical pattern that we get into. And it starts with winning meaningless games at the end of the year, right? Like, okay, yeah, we always talk about it. Oh, it's good for the young players and shit. How good is it? We fucking haven't done anything in forever. And we haven't had the number 1 pick since 1997. So, you know what I mean? Like, maybe change that idea. But as we hire new folks, general manager, coach, like Gunny's talking about, maybe bringing in a fucking offensive coach for once. That's not Adam Gase, like that was just booted out of Miami and landed right in the soft cushion of Christopher Johnson's lap. Like, maybe not that. The other thing, though, too, is like there are 2 sides to this. One is we never hire an offensive coach. And the other one is we never hire an experienced coach. So like if Ben Johnson comes here, he's still a rookie. We're still going to have to endure, most likely, the clock management thing, the not having the bat. Like, he's never been a head coach. Look, when you're number 2 and you're the number 2 guy, it's real easy to like point at the number 1 guy, and you can have, hey, I do it differently and whatever. But once you're the guy who's literally like the guy making the decisions, it's different. Believe me. I've experienced that even in my own life, and I've seen it a whole bunch of times. Like, it's very easy to think you can do it. Like, I'm 1 step away. I'm the number 2. This guy sucks. I would do it so much differently, whatever. And then you get in there and it's like, holy shit, I'm the guy. Like, being able to balance all that stuff. A rookie head coach, like, we're going to experience. So that's the whole thing. It's like, kind of which side are you going to choose? Because there are no offensive experienced coaches out there. You got Flores.
You got some people are on the Cliff Kingsbury.
That's actually a good point. I don't love Kingsbury, but he does have both sides. And, look, he was an experience. He had his experience in Arizona. He's doing a great job or good job in Washington.
Yeah. He's if you can make an argument for Kingsbury, you can say this is that he knows how to work with and develop quarterbacks. Look at the quarterbacks that he's had under his wing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this year with Jaden Daniels, he had a rookie, Kyler Murray, kind of helped groom Kyler Murray. Coach Caleb Williams in college, coached Patrick Mahomes in college. He's had his fair share of quarterbacks. I think he even got the most out of, what is that guy? Davis Mills. Remember the 3rd round pick from Houston?
Oh, yeah.
He was in college. He was a stud. So there's something to be said that he has that pedigree experience of working with these young quarterbacks. So I mean, if you're looking for someone who has the experience and is on the offensive side of the ball, there's that. I see Harlan in here. Everyone's a failure as a head coach. Well, listen, if you don't want a rookie head coach and you don't want a retread, if it's a retread, they probably failed at some point, right? Or else they'd still have a job. So, we might as well run it back with Ulbrich.
Right. But you want exactly so the point, Harlan, is that they made their mistakes. They learned what to do, what not to do. They did it wrong. Oh, what I would do differently.
Yeah.
The problem with Adam Gase was that he didn't have that period of time to go kind of be a coordinator again, do what he does, think about it. You know what I mean? He came right in here. I like when they look, they have a gig as a head coach. It doesn't work out. They go be an offensive coordinator. They're successful again, and they earn the head coach opportunity again.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 names.
I think Salah's going to do exactly that. People keep laughing about the whole Salah situation. I think he's going to get another shot, and the next time around, he'll be a much more better prepared for the opportunity.
And I'll give you this year.
No, and it won't.
Oh God, no.
I'll give you 2 other names. One we know pretty well, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was what was he? 4-13, 4-12 as the Jets coach. The 1 year he was the head coach. Failed in New England as well before he finally
New England as well. A lot of people forget that, Dom.
Yeah, Bill Belichick. Remember, he was the Cleveland head coach.
The Browns,
failed miserably. They fired him. So the fact that a guy wasn't successful his first time around, like GreenBean said, I don't think it's something that you can kind of downplay. Now listen, does everyone who gets a second bite of the apple succeed? No, that's not the case either. But I'm thinking, I can't remember his name. Who was the guy? He was the coach of Detroit. Then it was the head coach, Jim Schwartz. He had a couple bites of the apple. Was not very good. And he found out that he's probably just better as a coordinator. Dick LeBeau had his bites at the apple.
Andy Reid. Frankie brings up Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Got ran out of town of Philly. And now he's the best coach in football right now in Kansas City.
Yeah. The only thing is Philly also won a Super Bowl.
True.
So the thing was with Andy Reid, it's a shame too, because we had Rex at the peak when Andy Reid was fired. I was like, oh, what a shame. I'd love to. I mean, Andy Reid he's definitely a good coach. Problem is they just couldn't seem to get past that hump, getting a Super Bowl ring. And it was just it just wore out, so it's one of those things where whoever was getting that guy was getting a stud muffin. And obviously we see that coming to fruition. I wish.
Yeah.
If only.
I want to remind everybody about the sponsor of the show, the great BetUS, everybody, offering people, check this out. You weren't here before. I'm going to show you right now. A 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 just by using the promo code YouTube150, everybody. That's all you got to do. And that will also get you a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000. It's America's favorite sports book for a reason. I use it every week. So far, not so good. Although the last 2 weeks I did a little better, so I'm on the upswing. But you can do, I'll tell everybody, man, all you got to do is watch me and go, I'm doing the opposite of what GreenBean does, and you're going to be doing all right out there. I'm not good at it, but that doesn't mean that the platform isn't good. It's me. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm picking the Jets. That's what I do every week. But again, America's favorite sports book, YouTube 150, a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Thank you to BetUS for hanging out with us, everybody. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's a tough gig, that we're in here. I hate to belabor the point. So let's switch it over. I got a poll out there, and I really want to get your thoughts on this, both of your thoughts, actually. So the poll says, let me end this poll here. Who's the offseason priority as far as in-house? Now, we got G-Dubs locking him up, so you make sure that he's not going to ask for a trade and all that kind of stuff that's rumored, unbased, but it's there. Jamie Sherwood, who is a free agent. Saucy Sauce Gardner, maybe we lock him up. Or Eccles, who is also a free agent. So here's how the poll ended up. You had 123 votes. G-Dubs took 54% of those votes. Jamie Sherwood took second place with 25%. Then we have Sauce Gardner, 16%. And only 4% are looking at Brandon Eccles as the priority. Gunny, where do you land in that poll? Like, who's your offseason priority as far as the Jets? Maybe even a different guy.
No, priority is Sherwood. 100%. Priority is Jamie Sherwood. I think the way this dude has balled out this year, he is currently right now a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. You got him and Quincy back there. We all know CJ Mosley is definitively on the back end of his career. He's done. The development of this kid, man, being able to reward somebody who's homegrown and has played the way he's played this year. He's one of the bright spots on this team this year on defense that seemed to have lost their way after we got rid of Saleh. He's been one of those guys who's been a constant, right? And I think you keep those two young guys together, him and Quincy. That's going to be a key component for the next regime in regards to knowing you got those key linebackers there. A lot of people are saying Garrett Wilson, I love the guy, and I'm with you. I believe that we need to make sure we lock him up. But let's not forget, he's going into year 4, and we're definitively going to utilize that freaking 5th-year option if need
Absolutely.
be. So I think if we have to prioritize this year, Sherwood's a free agent. Like, he's gone if we don't lock him up. I want Sherwood. I want him in the building. I want him to stay put. I think we need to go ahead and give him the bag. I'm sick and tired of us letting linebackers go and they go elsewhere and they just freaking dominate, and then we just sit there sad and upset about it. Like, he's homegrown. He's earned a contract extension. He's not going to go ahead and break the bank either. I want to keep him here. I think Garrett Wilson is the primary focus for next year. But for this year, I think that if we're talking about that we can only make one move this season, who is it going to be? It's got to be Sherwood, because Garrett Wilson ain't going nowhere next year.
Solid points. Dom, where do you land in this? You agree with Gunny on a different guy?
I'm going to go with Javon Kinlaw. No, I'm not. I'm kidding.
There it is.
I'm kidding. Listen, I mean, Gunny makes a valid point with Sherwood. I guess it really depends on the coaches and the scheme, because, if you bring in, I'll just use this as a really rough example, but if you bring in somebody from the Pittsburgh school and that defense, where they prefer their linebackers bigger and working downhill more, like, he's not going to fit. But yes, I mean, Sherwood would be a priority. But to me, I think there's only one answer, and that's doing whatever it takes. Oh, there you go, Bino. So the same thing I was thinking. I think you have to do whatever it takes to assure that the noise that Garrett Wilson has been spewing for the past 3 years kind of subsides. And if that means you pay him early, you pay him early. But, you know, I think it's going to be a rough sledding with Garrett Wilson. I think there's going to be
Well, what noise are you talking about?
the fact that he's unhappy and that he's done with losing that noise.
Give me an example.
I mean, every time he's spoken to the media just about in the past 3 years, he says he's not built for this. He can't stand losing. Like, something's got to change. You can tell his demeanor is just getting more sour as the days go on. So I think you have to do whatever it takes to keep him relatively satisfied, quiet, even if it means paying him early. I know you don't have to, and I get that point. You have 3 years of control with Garrett Wilson. You have 2 more years and the what's it called? Franchise tag. So you don't have to necessarily do anything, but I think that's the olive branch you wave, that you are going to be our solid foundational piece of our offense. We want you here. We want you here for your career, this, that, and the other thing. So those two, him and Sherwood on the defense would probably be the 2 that I would go. If I had gun to my head, if I have to choose one, I'm doing whatever it takes to keep Garrett Wilson a Jet for a long, long time.
See, it's a funny thing because I am literally right with both you guys. Like, now, if I have to take one and move him to the priority, I think it does have to be Sherwood because you lose him. He's a free agent, right? And Garrett Wilson, 5th-year option, whatever. You just say, hey, fuck off. You know what I mean? You could, in a loving way, of course, Gunny. But I think what Dom is saying is also very, very true. And I want to approach it that way. I think Garrett Wilson, you need to sit down with him and let him know, like, look, dude, we're building around you.
Yeah.
Like, you are an incredible talent. It's not lost on us. We're going to build around you. We've tried a few things. Didn't work out. You were enamored with Aaron Rodgers too. I'd be honored that he just wants to throw the ball to me. Holy shit, if he comes here. Like, so we were all in the same boat. You were there too. It didn't work. But we're going to build around you. Here's a 4-year contract extension. It's early. We want you to know that we're all on the Garrett Wilson train, and take care of that and secure him, and just let him know the organization is 100%, behind him, for lack of a better term, believes in him, all that kind of stuff. That said, you can have that conversation. Look, we're going to do your 5th-year option, and the early part of next year, we're going to negotiate, and an extension we're going to pay you. Don't worry about it. But I don't know how that lands or whatever, but Sherwood's gone. But like Bino was saying in a few other comments, we don't even know if the new regime, if Sherwood's built for it. We don't know. We don't know if they're going to come in and go, actually, I mean, nice player, but not the guy that I want. I want Leo Chanel. That's what I want. Something like that. Some heavy-handed, a little bit bigger, a little bit thumper, a little bit different player. Yeah. Then that's gonna be something, that'll really decide. That'll be the deciding factor. That said, I'm really hoping that they do like him and keep him. I think he's great. Eccles, I do like Eccles very much, but I don't like him as like the penciled in starter. I don't think, he's not blowing my doors off. I think he's an opportunistic, depth guy, comes off the bench and plays well. Like, I like that. And you need those guys, but I don't know. I mean, if somebody's going to give him starter money, then I'm not matching.
Somebody's going to give him starter money. Somebody definitely is going to give him, somebody's going to make him a starter. And you can't knock the kid for wanting to try and go and be a starter. He's probably got one more big payday left. Right. And Sherwood's interesting because over the cap, they do their projections on where their value is. Over the cap currently has him right over $11 million per year on his next deal. So, that's just say, and he'll be 25 by the time the season starts next year. So you figure you got 3, maybe 4 more years. Do you give him 3 years, $35 million for Sherwood? If you got a defense that needs that Mike linebacker to play sideline to sideline, which is Sherwood's specialty, that speed guy, then yeah, if that's the way you want to go, like I'm all for it. Like I'm not opposed to having Sherwood as my middle linebacker if the scheme calls for it. But when you say priority, to me, the priority is
right
settling.
But I think the free agency piece does kind of come in and factor in. I mean, the players, I don't think there's even a question. You know what I mean? Garrett Wilson's more important. But anyway, Hennessy checking in. What's up, Hennessy? Good to see you. I'm glad Garrett Wilson is passionate and doesn't like losing. Other players lose game and have a smile on their face and swap jerseys after the game. That's the thing. Like, I think this whole thing with like interviewing guys right after that shit, and they say things like, I hate it. It's what do we expect? You know what I mean? Because I think that's hard. It's like, that's the moment. And then there are guys that could give two shits. There really are. There's a lot of those guys. I was talking about it the other night with O'Leary. When there are Jets fans like, hey, trade him, get another wide. Not every wide receiver has that build. Like, I love Garrett Wilson's makeup. I love his demeanor. I love his passion. Every play is important. And you see the frustration. Like, dude, he did his job. He just burned Jalen Ramsey. I'm fucking wide open.
Made him look silly for an entire game. I don't understand that too with Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry to cut you off, GreenBean, but like you're good. I've seen Jets fans saying that too. Like, man, get rid of everybody's got to go. Let's just start over. This team is not devoid of talent. Like, the majority of the issues we're dealing with right now, I believe, priority is coaching. Coaching has been just a debacle, just an embarrassment. And then I think Aaron Rodgers having too much weight on his shoulders. Clearly, he's not the same Aaron Rodgers that we were hoping we were going to get. We're not even getting the Aaron Rodgers that left Green Bay in that last year. He's taken another step backwards. Now, some will say maybe it's because he's fresh off of the Achilles injury. Some will say that next year we'll really know whether he still got it or not. I think we've seen enough to kind of get an idea that Aaron Rodgers it's like almost like mentally he's lost some processing speed. I don't know. Whatever happens next year happens. But Garrett Wilson, if you ask me, is probably the only elite player we have on this roster. Like, you can look at him and think, he's elite. This dude has gotten 1,000-yard seasons in every season he's been here. He's going to do it again this year.
With 9 quarterbacks, Gunny.
Yeah, exactly. A plethora of quarterbacks, the majority of them being bums. And yet somehow, some way, he continues to shine through. Garrett Wilson, to me, I think, is the heart and soul of this team. And I agree with Hennessy. He's the only person after a loss, you look at it and you can tell he hates it. He hates losing more than he loves winning. And you do need a team that has that mindset where it hurts that much. Yeah, I know what Dom is talking about. He said that losing seems to be in the DNA of this team. Like, he doesn't understand it. Even when, the game is going their way, somehow, some way they find a way to freaking lose it. We all feel that way. I think the majority of us watched that game and knew the moment it went into overtime and they got the ball first. I don't think any Jets fan who was watching that game felt like, we got this. We're going to crush it. The majority of us knew, and we just lost this game. This is going to be an L. And sure enough, it was. I think a guy like Garrett Wilson going through this pain now, I think the next regime is going to understand the value he brings, and I think going to highlight that he is a big component of how we fix it. He's a competitor. Like, he's truly an alpha. And when you have a true alpha on your team, those are the individuals who start to look at themselves as the solution. And he's clearly seeing there's a significant problem with this organization. And I do believe that the next GM head coach talks to him right and let him know what he means to the team. He's going to realize, like, all right, I got to fix it. I would like to pay him this year too and just lock him up. But again, when we're talking about the priorities, we do have control over him over the next 3 years, and Sherwood, unfortunately, would be gone.
Yeah, and then we have, Ashton Davis is another one that's very high on the priority list for most people. But we'll leave that for another day. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, because again, we don't even know who the hell's leading this team. So we have our feelings, we have our thoughts. Somebody can come in and go, just look, just like when Mangini got here, he said, yeah, John Abraham, I'm getting rid of that fucking guy. When Bill Parcells got here, Hugh Douglas, we all loved Hugh. He said, yeah, get out of here. So you never know. You just never know what a regime is going to do. Now, I hope that somebody can come in, just like Gunny said, and acknowledge this team is loaded. Now, we're not perfect. We're not, at every position. We need some stuff. But boy, oh boy, is this a good start. Much better than we've had to do in years past when, 100%. Like, our top player is like, what's that guy's name? Neville Hewitt. You know what I mean? Somebody like that. Like, that's our big Neville Hewitt and Jordan Jenkins. Got to lock those guys up. That kind of a thing. This is a whole different scenario. Like, we're blowing it. This team is made to compete. And we are competing in a lot of games. We just
can't finish. Just cannot finish.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what else we got here, man? What do you guys think of the you guys psyched, Gunny? You psyched for the 30 for 30 coming up for the sack exchange?
Oh, heck yeah. I saw that that little it's a little preview of it the other day, and I saw a little commercial of it, and I was just like, I cannot wait to watch that. Again, this is some stuff that we get to look at as Jets fans. It's a positive, right? It reminds us of the good times. We haven't had them in quite some time. Whenever we get a chance to kind of go ahead and go back in history when we mattered, I'm in. I'm all in. So I'm looking forward to that one being released.
More so than the Aaron Rodgers Netflix,
right?
Video.
Did you watch it? I didn't even look at it.
No, I don't think it's out yet. No,
it's not out yet. Yeah, I'm not gonna either. I seriously
I could
care less.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it, and GreenBean, you have to watch it. You're a Jets content creator. Like, it's part of our job to have to watch it. But not. I'm gonna lie. I saw that commercial for it, and I was just like, this is gonna be bad. And you know why it's gonna be bad? Because of how bad we've been as a team. Now, if Rodgers was winning, and then we get to see all this weird stuff he's doing on whatever peyote or whatever the heck he's using, right? Like, I think then we're looking at it like, man, this dude, he knew what he was doing because look how his mind was right. He took the Jets to the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. Instead, we're talking about him being a bum and like he's lost a step, like he can't see the field. And I think I think this is going to be bad. I'm with you, GreenBean. I think it's going to be bad, but as a content creator, this is what we do. It's going to be brought up, and we're going to have to watch it just for our job, just for this opportunity.
I know, and you're right. The thing is, like, with the sack exchange piece, like, I just wanted, like, I want so badly, because that's my era, right? So I want so badly for the newer fans, anybody who came after it, to, like, get to see that. But evidenced by the first clip, Gastineau and Brett Favre, it's going to be more about that type. It's going to be about the drama that they didn't like. It's going to be all that bullshit. Mark Gastineau crossing the picket line. It's going to be, I'm going to watch it, and hopefully it's not that much, but I can already feel it. It's going to be somewhat of a hit piece. And it kills me because, like, we have, that dude, that's one of the, if not the greatest defensive line ever. Like, truly. I mean, you got one guy with 22 sacks, another guy with 20 sacks, like, at the same time. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's ours. And they're going to go, this guy hated that guy, and he was selfish, and look at him. How he talks to the great Brett Favre. And it's like, oh, come on. Why do we got to do that? Look, I'm hoping it's not, but it looks like it's going to be. And it breaks my heart, Dom.
Breaks it.
Yeah, I feel that. That Brett Favre interaction piece that we just saw the other day. It was the cameras following them, so obviously it might be a part of the series, which is going to suck. Because why not focus on the good times? Let's find how this thing could have actually blown up and how much they hated each other. And it really wasn't that
because it's the Jets, and there's a negative connotation around the Jets.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's wearing, especially in a year like this, where, like, the disappointment is so thick. it's hard to like then okay, so now we got an Aaron Rodgers who's gonna be like, hey, fucking whatever. I don't even know what he's gonna but it's like, and then you get the sack, like finally the sack exchange, and they're gonna focus on the fact that they didn't like each other and all that. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? Always drama. It's like when Klecko and Rebus got into the hall together. We're like, yay, finally, our guys. And they're like fighting.
They found a way. Yep, they found a way to go ahead and make it negative. Yep, that's a good point.
Make it negative. It's like, can we just have stuff?
We deserve nice things too. We don't have a lot of nice things. So when nice things happen, can we just I'm starting to
entertain it? Like maybe we don't. I don't know. There's got to be something going on. You know what it is? And Tigo and I were talking about it last night. The Jets are the 9th most valuable sports franchise on the planet Earth. So the truth is, we don't have to win for the business to be successful. Yeah. There are other markets, they got to win, to keep people engaged. Not here.
What's crazy, GreenBean? You said that, and I think like in the NFL we're like 5th or something like that. But like, 9th overall. And I sat there and I was just like, well, 9th overall, and we are trash. Like trash. This shows you how much we as fans love this team, but the team don't love us. They don't love us. We still show up. We still buy merch. We still buy tickets. We tailgate like no other freaking fan base, and they continue to let us down. We love the New York Jets, but they don't love us.
No, they hate us, I think.
I feel that way too.
I think they sit around and go, how these
how can we piss off the fan base? How can we hurt them looks like a little bit more?
Yeah. Let's hurt these guys. And I think they're trying to where is the line that they will stop?
Some sick experiment that we don't know about, but there's a sick experiment. Like, hey guys, check it out. We're gonna go ahead and put these guys through 14 years. Let's see what happens in year 15. Well, let's see if they keep coming. They keep buying. I feel like at this point, it's some sick social experiment that we're the Jets fans don't know about it, but everybody else knows about it, and we're the ones that left in the dark. And we keep showing up. We keep giving money to the freaking Johnsons, and they've again proven to us that they don't deserve our love. But here we are in a battered relationship, continuing to give it to them anyway.
It's exactly what it is. All right, listen, guys, we got to get out of here a little bit early tonight. I want to thank. Number one, it's good to see Dom and Gunny again. It's been a little while.
It's been a minute. It's been a while, yeah.
But I'm glad to be back with you guys. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I love everybody in the chat hanging out, everybody on Twitter, everybody on YouTube or at X. I'm sorry. And I want to thank the great BetUS for sponsoring the video. Don't forget about the offer. YouTube 150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, everybody. And with that said, let me say, Gunny, you got anything coming up, buddy?
No, I got to hang out on Tuesdays. At this point, it's just looking at this Jets team and trying to figure out how to fix it. Last episode, I had Marcus Santiago on, and we kind of broke down our thought process on the general manager down to the head coach and how we could potentially fix this team. Because again, I don't think we're that far away from competing. So breaking down the roster on that was fun. Doing that again next week. I'm trying to see if I can get Frankie on the show next week. So Frankie, if you're not busy next week, man, I want to go ahead and get your input on how the Jets can get great again. Because at this point, man, this is just embarrassing that we're going into year 14 and it's unreal. Statistically speaking, this is impossible for a professional sports team to go 14 years and not make the playoff. It's an anomaly. So I don't know, man. I think we're close. But here we are at 3-10, and I'm actually still believing that, hey, we're still close. It's just we got to get the coach right.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm with you, Gunny. We're close. Yeah. We're close. Dom, what do you got?
Oh, man, I've been working overtime here trying to finalize and finish up the Project Prospect Draft Guide for 2025. Just finished the edge class. I have the interior linemen that I got to rewatch some or watch some that I haven't had a chance to get tape on, and the wide receivers, and that will be done. So I'm hoping The goal was January 1st, but it's probably looking more like before I leave down for Senior Bowl, which is the end of January, that'll be completed. And GreenBean knows he was one of the few that had access to it last year. You're talking 300 plus players, in-depth breakdowns, fits, roles, my projections, the positives and negatives. I gave you some extra content like my top 75 I'll break down, so on and so forth. Hoping to get that out again before I head down for the Senior Bowl in Mobile, which is at the end of January, which has been confirmed. I did receive my credentials yet again. Year 3, here we come.
Nice.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. And both links for Dom C and Gunny's channels are below in the description of this very video, guys. So make sure you, look, show some love, but there's value there too. It's not just charity. Good stuff over there. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm 5 away from the next marker, so you can be the one that pushes it over. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. With that all said, see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.